Okay, everyone. My name's Greg, and if you know your football, then I'm pretty sure you know what I'm going on about, or about to go on about. Um, and the reason it's kind of come to mind is I just watched the World Cup final with Croatia and France, and um, I'm also going to upload a video about that to YouTube about where Griezmann takes a dive and Croatia get a free kick. I mean, France get a free kick and Mandzukic from Croatia scores an own goal from it, which give France a 1-0 lead 5 minutes into the holy grail of football, the World Cup final. And I just think because you know it was just so wrong that in the ultimate game the VAR system stuffs up and doesn't make the ref aware that he should view the free kick. And if he did so, he'd see that Griezmann took a dive, and he should have gave Griezmann either a yellow card or stern walking talking to, and awarded Croatia a free kick or a drop ball or something, but not give France a free kick, which they scored a goal from that free kick 5 minutes into the game. And people can say that I won't go on about it, but people can say that it all balanced out because Perisic got a goal 15 minutes later, but that's another moment in time in the game. But what my beef is about, what brought to mind was like I'm a lifelong Liverpool supporter, but I'm not one-eyed and I'm not stupid. I don't walk around with my head up my backside and not see things how they are. And but in this incident, and I can't show you it because of copyright. I'm hoping they'll let me get away with this image of it. Um, I don't just bang on about stuff. I do bang on, but I research and look into what I'm talking about, so I know that I'm coming from a factual point of view, not just making it up as I go along, like unfortunately a lot of people do nowadays. Um, but Ramos he's got that extra level to him where he's like if he's arguing with a ref, he'll take it to the next step, where he's bordering on getting a yellow card or something, or sometimes he even goes too far and gets a yellow card off. He's got a dispute with a player on the field, he's in their face and really in their face and gets real like aggressive towards them. Or if he takes a player down where he thinks he can get away with it, where, if it's off the ball situation, he does so. And and when he takes players down where, it is the ball's there and all that, he does what he's doing here. He takes it to that next level. Like in this situation, and he's a martial arts expert. I couldn't quite find out what the martial art that he's got a black belt in, but he's got a black belt in some martial art, some form of martial art. And this was basically a martial arts move where in this situation, he was like really harassing Mo Salah, and Mo Salah put his arm across Ramos in front of him to keep him off him and off the ball. And Ramos has gone, thank you, and just locked his arm and pinned his arm underneath Ramos's armpit, and then put his legs across Mo Salah to trip him up and bring him down. And as he's bringing him down, and if you want to do that, people call it gamesmanship. I don't think it should be any part of the game. You're playing football, so play football. I like the pure, beautiful game. But if he was doing that, it's like, cool, you got him. He's going down. Now release his arm and let him go. So you land on both hands, and Ramos is free to protect himself from the fall and get up and get on with the game. But he doesn't do that. Instead of releasing Mo Salah when he knows he's got him down, he keeps his arm pinned, and then Ramos extends his left arm forward. So now that Mo Salah's arm is not just pinned, but it's extended forward and stretched upwards. And then as he brings him down, he does a little, instead of like just rolling barrel roll to the right, as he hits the deck, he does a little jerk to his left, so that when Mo Salah hits the deck, he really slams him and gives that little jerk to the left to slam him and bring his up, extend his arm up more, so that it pops his shoulder out. And he does that intentionally because he wants Mo Salah out of the game because he knows it's Liverpool's greatest threat. And that's what happens. Mo Salah tries to play on, but he can't because his arms, his shoulder's stuffed. And Ramos comes on like, oh, what's wrong? You're okay, and does all that bullshit. Knowing exactly what he's done, he doesn't even get a yellow card for it, and there's no review whatsoever. And changed the game going forward from that point on. And Liverpool lost 3-1 to Real Madrid. And mind you, from that moment on, Real Madrid played the better football, and with all their experience came into it and all the rest. I'm not sure about better football. And Karius had his obvious mistakes, and Bale scored that wonder goal. But my point is that Ramos knew what he was doing and intentionally took Mo Salah out of the game, not just to get a foul, not just to stop that attack that Mo Salah was doing, but to take him deliberately out of the game. And I believe that wholeheartedly, 100%, because you can see with when I did the research on him and saw what kind of player he was, and that he had because I didn't watch it again. I was off looking after my girlfriend for a couple of months because she had stuff going on. So I made a point of not watching it during that 2 months period that I was away, to then go and research Ramos, and what kind of player he was, and a bit about his history. And I found out that he's a martial arts expert, and that he's a full-on dirty player, that he takes things to the next degree, regardless of the situation, whether it's back chat with a ref or interaction with another player off the ball, or if he's tackling someone. He takes it to that next level where he doesn't have to. He doesn't rely on his skill. He's like a few other players around, that they revert to dirty tactics and foul play rather than relying on their skill and the spirit of the game. And I think it's disgusting and should be stamped out. I know that Liverpool supporters got a petition against him, and that there's an Arabian or some mega millionaire lawyer out there who's got $1 million lawsuit against Ramos. And I think, like, my point of view is that FIFA should they should fine him. And I guess you can't really replay the game and all the rest of it because it's just unrealistic. But in future, like with the whole VAR system, if they're going to bring it in, bring it in. I guess they're leaving it up to each league's choice, or each country's choice, whether they want to bring him into the league or not. I'm not sure if that's the case, or whether it's FIFA's got the final say. But because it worked well during the World Cup, except for that incident with Griezmann in the final. The holy grail within the final, and he takes a dive, and within the first 5 minutes of the game, and France score from a Mandzukic, Croatian player's own goal, and it changes the outcome of the World Cup final. Just absolutely disgusting and amazing. Because they pulled it up. They used the VAR at halftime, where the guy, because 15 minutes later after that Griezmann dive, Croatia scored from Perisic, who just had a brilliant cup. Then he goes and stuffs up and does a deliberate handball in the box, which the ref missed in the VAR system right on half time. The VAR people called him up and said, you should review the corner, and they did, and the ref did, and then called a penalty. But they didn't do it for Griezmann. by saying you should review the free kick incident, and he would have seen that Griezmann took a dive, and he would have been yellow carded or stern warning. Croatia would have got a free kick instead of France getting the free kick and scoring. So, I'm glad to see during the World Cup that they they came down hard. Where usually in the Premier League, that's my only viewing of it because that's what I follow. As I said, I'm a Liverpool supporter. Um, where in the past they'll give free kicks outside the penalty box, but if anyone does a free kick in the takes the player down in the penalty box, unless it's like 100% blatant, and even then they don't call it. The refs tend not to call them and let them get away with it for whatever reason, too scared to call it or whatever. And I've noticed in the World Cup that the refs have been coming down hard on that, where they've been calling penalties, as was the case in the final, where they pulled Perisic up for the deliberate handball to divert the ball away from out of play, letting it go through to what could have been a France goal. So I hope the Premier League and FIFA and all that, and the referees follow that up and carry it on in the Premier League next season. Because I'm a lover of the pure, beautiful game. I've got no time for so-called gamesmanship, like I said, which is just another word for cheating. That they come down on all this kind of stuff, and the players who take a dive if another player's within 5 metres of him, and my leg's broken. Ref is so bad, and then the ref gives a free kick, and the player's up within 30 seconds, running around like nothing happened to him. So I hope they stamp all that crap out. It's not gamesmanship; it just takes it away from the beautiful game. And a beautiful example of that is Eden Hazard, where in the past, last couple of seasons, he's been a bit of a show off, and it's all about him. And he'd go down really easily and feign dives and tackles, and he just doesn't have that in his game anymore. He's now a really humbled, brilliant, beautiful player who relies on his talent and skill, and he's got no time for that stuff. So either he realised it himself or someone pointed it out to him, and now he's a pleasure to watch. He's a beautiful man and beautiful player, and it's a pleasure to watch and adds to the game. Whereas players like Griezmann, Mo Salah, Griezmann's not a dirty player. He'll take a dive and he's a show off, and it's all about him. So hopefully he'll grow up in time. But players like Ramos and Pogba and Ashley Young, and Pogba and Ashley Young from Man United, and Lingard from Man United. They're all dirty players. They don't just take dives; they take it to the next level. Mind you, nobody takes it to the levels that Ramos does, or maybe Ashley Young does, as was the example in that Man City Man United game last year. Sergio Aguero was in the box and was going to score, and Ashley Young just completely, deliberately took him out. And again, I researched them players, Pogba and Young, and Griezmann and Pogba and Young are really dirty players, and they're really angry, dirty players. Where he's a brilliant, talented player, but he's a bit full of himself and thinks he's all that, which he is in a way, but not that egotistical crap way. And he likes taking the dive if he gets the opportunity to. And the sooner we get rid of it out of our game, and players like Ramos are held accountable for their actions with big lengthy fines and big lengthy, bans from playing all football because of what they do. If they need to take it that far to stamp it out of the game, then I'm all for it, man. Because when the beautiful game's in flow and there's none of that crap, it's just the ultimate buzz and high to watch, and it's what the game should be all about. And for our young players coming forward to sit there and watch a game like that, just totally inspire them and want to grow up and be like the heroes, but not want to grow up and be like players like Ramos. So anyway, I'm going to let this play through. You won't see it because of copyright, but you'll be able to hear the vision.
problem Real Madrid have
hear the
at
vision,
a diamond. Look at the
hear the
left-hand side.
audio.
Robertson's all on his own. If they can change it out to him, they can get down that left-hand side every single time.
Salah stayed down here after the challenge by Sergio Ramos. The Real Madrid captain landed awkwardly on the Egyptian.
And Ramos is carrying on like, yeah, quick, come and see, he's hurt. And he knows he's done it on purpose.
I think he just felt the weight of Ramos on him after the challenge. It was good defending initially by
Grab,
Ramos.
pull him forward, extend, roll him over,
Goes over.
jerk, and lets him go. Grab, extend, roll over, jerk,
Nasty,
lets him go.
Massive concern this for Liverpool.
He did it on purpose. He knew what he was doing. So, because you can't see it, I won't go on. But Ramos is just working around like...
Salah, 44 goals.
He knew what he was doing. He's a dirty player and he should be fined and banned for it. But they won't. You know, like I noticed in the a couple of games, like the Germany game against Sweden, where Sweden had a definite penalty claim, and they didn't do it because FIFA wanted Germany to progress, but then if they have the opportunity to do so, I'm sure the refs are instructed to allow them to do so unless it's just blatantly obvious, I suppose, that they're doing the wrong thing and letting them go through. But it's good that they got knocked out because they didn't deserve. They were playing crap. I was hoping for England Belgium final. Would have been a beautiful game. But as it turned out, it was Croatia and France who deserved to be there, but I'm just so sick of seeing France and Germany up there, and especially for France to win the way they did. Mind you, the goals they scored from Pogba, and as much as I can't stand Pogba, as I said, he's a dirty player. His goal was a beautiful goal. The Croatian goalkeeper couldn't see, was unsighted, and that was the same with Mbebe. What's his name? The young France player who scored the goal. Mbappe. He also, the Croatian goalkeeper was also unsighted. But it was a good tournament, and the two teams that were in the final deserved to be there. But I think, like I said, with the tackle, with the dive Griezmann took, it just changed the course of the game, and France won. Who knows what would have happened if the VAR was called in at that point, like it was for the penalty they gave to France at half-time when the Croatian player deliberately handled the ball. They called it in then, but they didn't call it for Griezmann. But anyway, I've just watched that not long ago, so it's kind of still fresh in my mind. But I'll leave it there. So like and subscribe if you want. I'm more about the interaction and your point of view, and love the conversation. So, if you agree with what I'm saying about Ramos and Griezmann and all the rest of it, then fine. If you don't, then that's fine also. Let me know your thoughts. And thanks for watching. And my name's Greg, and bye for now, viewers, and happy days. Have a good day and all the best to you all. Okay, bye for now.